Hey, what's going on? Ryan here with Intersection Records, and I wanted to talk about a concert that I went to last night. It was Georgia Satellites, Molly Hatchet, and Ozark Mountain Daredevils on March 1st, 2025 at the Family Arena in St. Charles, Missouri. You know, as we all know in the classic rock world, there's these package tours. You know, maybe you have one original member, maybe you have no original members, and it's a package deal. I like seeing some of these shows and filling in some of the missing pieces of bands that I've never seen. I really wanted to see the Ozark Mountain Daredevils. But I wanted to talk about Molly Hatchet. You know, they're a band formed out of Jacksonville, Florida in the early 70s. They don't officially release an album until 78. You know, the band is founded by Dave Hulbeck on guitar and the great incomparable vocals of Danny Joe Brown. You know, the band is a kind of a Leonard Skinner type of Southern rock, Allman Brothers thing. I think they started off as a three guitar band. And ultimately, for a lot of their career, they're a two guitar band. You know, their lead singer leaves after the second album. So Danny Joe Brown's gone after the first album. I think it's Molly Hatchet, then Flirting with Disaster. He leaves for diabetes. He's gone for a number of years. He comes back in the 90s. We're now left with no original band members. And you know, I'll probably do a show on that concept at some point soon. Last night was fun, you know. Georgia Satellites were just okay. And then Molly Hatchet comes out with their current lineup. And, you know, before the show, my buddy and I were remarking how they look like they were getting ready to go into battle. They're kind of staring at the drummer and just stretching and vibing up while the music's going. The band consists of the following. This is to what my knowledge is. John Galvin on keyboards. John Galvin joined in 1983. Has been with them for a long, long time. He's on keyboards. He's not there the entire time. I feel like he's off sometimes when they don't need keyboards. Bobby Ingram has been in the band since 1987. Now, Bobby is friends with those guys way back from the beginning. In fact, when singer Danny Joe Brown, he was in a band with Bobby Kimmel prior to joining Molly Hatchet. So Bobby's been there in the family for years. He owns the rights to the name of Molly Hatchet. He is out there playing guitar. Is a one guitar attack now. And God bless him. He's a lot of fun. And where there were some production issues with the mix last night, I wasn't crazy about how I could hear the guitars. His playing was great. Sean Beamer is on drums. He's been in the band since 2001. Again, Bobby Ingram has been in the band since 87. It's a long time. Tim Lindsay is on bass. He's been there since 03. Guy looks like Sam Elliott or from Roadhouse. Just awesome, fun to watch bass player. And then Parker Lee on lead vocals. This guy looked like maybe he's 23. I don't know. I can't imagine he's over 25. Maybe the guy adds some energy. You know, he had a bunch of waters back on the drum riser. He also had what my buddy said was hot sauce and was going back and swigging this hot sauce. I'm like, Billy, there's no way that's hot sauce. It's got to be some sort of vocal enhancer thing disguised in a hot sauce. He's like, I talked to the guy after the show. He says his voice gets so dry for those growls that you need in Molly Hatchet. If I'm driving down the road, I'm flirting with... He says he needs that to stimulate his vocals, to get those type of, to get that growl. I sing in a band. If I have a pimento and an olive 2 days before a gig, I'll cough that thing up on stage. So I don't understand that. Let's get into the show. Again, it was fun. Another side note before I get in. So we have tickets. We actually got free tickets. And then my brother shows up with his buddy Paul, who I want to thank Paul and his son. they hooked us up with the front row. So he came in with his phone, showed the security people. They were split. There was 2 seats in the very center where they were, Paul and his son, and then the 3 of us. Long story short, I don't have a physical ticket. I get yanked out 2 songs into the Molly Hatchet. This security guard they thought he was protecting the Pope or something. He didn't realize it was a Molly Hatchet concert in 2025. He takes me out, all the way out in the corridor. He takes a swab with alcohol and rubs off my stamp and cuts my bracelet. And I'm out of the show for like 10 minutes. It's a long story. I end up getting back to the front row. Whiskey Man opens it up. I wish they would have waited for Whiskey Man because Parker Lee's vocals do get better as the night goes on. And Whiskey Man's one of my favorite songs. I felt like it was a little early, and I felt like the mix was not, big people or front row problems, right? Sometimes the mix isn't always as good in the front row when you're at concerts. Sometimes being back better can be better for concerts. Bounty Hunter was next. Gator Country, cool song. We're similar to what Charlie Daniels does in some songs. In Gator Country, Molly Hatchet lists off some of the Southern rock heroes and bands. One Man's Pleasure was next. Devil's Canyon, a drum solo, Beating the Odds. I'm Gonna Live Till I Die. There was a section where they did a part of Layla. Dreams I'll Never See, which is an Allman Brothers cover, but they kind of make it their own with a little bit more of a rocking version. And then ultimately Flirting with Disaster, which is just such a cool song by Molly Hatchet. My takeaways from last night is, they're out there having fun. And Bobby Ingram says, listen, we're carrying on the legacy of this band. We worked hard to celebrate the legacy of this band. Think about growing up with those guys in Jacksonville, not quite getting the invite to be on the first couple albums, but then finally getting the invite in the 80s. You're carrying that torch. The original lead singer comes back. You end up having lots of years and shows under your belt with the original singer. The original guitar player, Dave Holbeck, comes back for years. I don't think Dave ended up dying until 2017. So he was in the band all the way till 2017. Then he passes away, right? I think their singer before this, Parker Lee, passed away. I mean, everybody ends up dying in this band, unfortunately. You're carrying on a legacy. You're celebrating the music. You've worked your butt off just to keep that train going. And I guess my thoughts are, I'm glad I went. I'm glad I saw that. I'm glad I got a taste of what they're about. And Parker Lee is doing certain signature things and acting kind of crazy. And it's probably what original singer Danny Joe Brown did. The guy, this is going to take me back down a rabbit hole where I want to research Danny Joe Brown and figure out what kind of frontman he was, because I could only imagine, man, he's only on the first 2 albums right before he leaves and comes back in the 90s. How do you lose a guy like that? With such a big voice and such a signature voice. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the show from Molly Hatchet last night, Family Arena on March 1st, 2025. Check out my channel. Subscribe if you like this content. We talk about great music. If the security guard that pulled me out of the show, dude, come on. This wasn't, Pink Floyd at the, O2 Arena. This was Molly Hatchet in 2025. You don't need to be yanking guys out. I just broke ribs last week and punctured my lung. And you're treating me like I just robbed, the Federal Reserve Bank or something. Anyway, peace out. Catch you. See ya.